Morning, friends. It's another beautiful sunrise here at the beach. And it's going to come right up over that horizon just shortly here. So I was thinking over and praying over what to talk about today, and it's like an old message, but it's a message that just needs to come out again and again, I think, especially years we've just, sort of completed Pride Month and, witnessing some of the things that are happening in politics here in Florida and even nationally. And while I don't believe that the scripture should be indicative of what the law does, I also think that if you're going to use it as a reason for what you think about the law, then we should be pretty clear about what some of the essential messages are. And one of those is very, very clearly over and over again, inclusion. All people are loved equally, which means we don't have the right to exclude, or again, if you're using, your scriptural or religious background as a basis for how you interpret law and your understanding of politics, then there's a lot that's happening that's pretty inappropriate, and we should be morally offended. And maybe I should background by saying in my tradition, we say that the first authority, a religious authority that we believe is Jesus. And then below that is the entirety of Scripture. And then beneath that is our book of confessions, what our ancient peoples have said and thought about how we live and who we are, and what it means to be a person of faith. And then in my tradition, lastly, is the book of order that kind of tells us how to execute these things in real life, is the idea. So if that's what I'm basing my understanding on, Jesus himself he talked about including people more than anything else and lived it out and showed it, right? All the people that others didn't like, and who he railed hardest against was institution, particularly religious institution, but also civic institution, because it can be crafty. It can justify its own existence in a million ways. So if you at all follow this Jesus fella, or if you think he might have had some good things to say, or if you're just aware of his influence over the world over the last couple thousand years, then you should know that he was always looking to the outsider and inviting them in. And when institution or the prevailing beliefs or the majority said these people shouldn't be included, Jesus always said, no, they should. Whether we're talking about Samaritans, which were the outsiders in his time, or tax collectors who were seen as the lying, cheating, no good jerk faces, or other people's called sinners, adulteresses or adulterers, and prostitutes, and on the list goes. And even the parables he told were all about welcoming people back, leaving the 99 for the one, welcoming back the prodigal son. This is a prevailing message. So I guess that's just my encouragement for today, is that we examine ourselves if we're going to say we have anything to do with this Jesus fella. And again, this is not a tool for you to go and judge others by, but to examine ourselves, to each one examine oneself, based on this radical inclusivity and love, and look for the ways that we can be more radically inclusive and loving. And that's my hope and my prayer, is that each one can examine themselves instead of using Scripture as some kind of measuring stick for others. And if we are going to use it as a tool by which we acknowledge the justness or not of our civic and political world, then we got to get real honest about what it says in there, man. So may you be a person of inclusivity and justness. May you feel the effects of unconditional love, and may you share them to the best of your ability. Grace and peace, friends.